morning, everybody. This is our astrology weather forecast for the 20th of January, 2025. We've got a few things going on today. Moon continues through Libra. Doesn't come into Scorpio until like 11:30 Eastern time tomorrow. So Moon continuing through Libra encourages cooperation, balance, and getting along. But we always want to look at what are we sacrificing? Are we sacrificing ourselves in the name of getting along? And if so, it ain't gonna last very long. We'll find a way out of it. Because we've got other things going on here. First, a square from Mercury to Chiron. Good morning, everybody. You guys are chipper this morning. Oh, good morning from London. Nice. I remember being in London as a child. So we are looking at correct use of communication, personal power. Oh God, there's a few things going on today. It's actually going to get more heavy as the sun approaches its annual conjunction to Pluto tomorrow. Alrighty. So Mercury Chiron squares, or hard aspects in general, are difficulty with getting our point across through communication. So misunderstandings and reticence in our communication. We may have to be vulnerable. We may have to put ourselves out there in a... Hold on. Excuse me. We may have to put ourselves out there in a way that exposes our self to some degree, exposes our tender side. And we can do this through communication. And this could be something that is good for us. And it could be something that also doesn't bring us the results that we want. But we have to be willing to be open and vulnerable and honest anyway, no matter what the result is. So be more careful in your communications to make sure that, all parties are served, but don't be so careful that you're not being yourself. It can bring its own kind of weirdness. The other thing is that we have a Sun-Saturn semi-square at the same time that the sun is approaching its conjunction to Pluto tomorrow. We're looking at personal responsibility and correct use of personal power. And is our libido, our creative power, our sexual energy something that is constructive in the world? Are we putting that into constructive pursuits? Are we using it constructively, or are we using that destructively and selfishly? If we use our libido, our creative personal power selfishly with Sun Pluto aspects, we lose it. We end up losing. We will be in poverty. We will be in loss. Because we have life and death right next to each other. So Sun Pluto conjunction, see, we're the Grim Reaper. We just don't know it. And so we have to be really careful about how we assert ourselves and the strength of our desire, and how we and who we point that desire towards, because it can be terribly, terribly destructive and hurtful. So we're looking at, but it can also be constructive. It can be powerfully healing. It depends on what our personal motivation is. So we have to be very careful about misuse of power in an attempt to secure ourselves or to get something personal for ourselves, and it is at the cost of creating negative karma. Yeah, tomorrow will be even more interesting with the Sun Pluto exact conjunction. We can just feel completely swallowed up by our drives, our base needs, our animal self. And it drives us to choose life over death. So today is a rough day in terms of being able to galvanize our energy, our solar power. It's very much restricted by needing to act in ways where we live up to our obligations. There's some restriction when it comes to doing what we want to do, because that semi square from Sun to Saturn, doing what we want to do and being ourselves, but also living up to what it is that we want to be, that we profess to be. What is the goal? So, Saturn is the image, it's what we want to become. The sun is the playfulness within us. And Pluto is losing ourselves so we can find ourselves. So we have to really look closely at am I using my creative power, my sexual power, my life power to go towards things and to build things and to engage with people that are life affirming? Or are these choices that I'm making or the people that I'm involved with, do they detract? Are they actually a negative influence because they want to take something from me or I want to take something from them? So, are we actually contributing, or are we telling ourselves that we're contributing? We are a positive factor, but we're actually enriching ourselves in some way that isn't completely conscious or on the up and up. So, how are we being shady? This is what we want to look at here today and tomorrow. And how, if we get ourselves back on track, we choose the adult part of ourselves rather than the sexually or physically voracious part of ourselves, or our anger or our resentment. When we pick the good stuff, even though it might be hard, it might be challenging to shift towards that. How is that good for everybody? So, a lot going on today and tomorrow. Be careful how you treat people and really look at what it is that you said you would do, what it is that you want to be, what is it that you have professed, what are those goals, what have you been trying for, and then what have you actually been doing? How have we not really been honest with ourselves or others? Alrighty, I'll check you guys out later today. I am going to pop in and have another talk. I'm not sure which planetary aspect I'm going to focus on today. Why don't you guys give me some opinions? Yesterday I focused on Venus Saturn aspects. What do you think about today? Give me some opinions and I'll pop in later and we'll have a chat.